Industrial Talk is brought to you by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks offers zero trust for your operational technology without the PTSD. If you're in the digital transformation game, keeping operational technology secure and running smoothly is a tall order. It's enough to make any coolest operations director wake up in night sweats. Palo Alto Networks Zero Trust OT Security delivers comprehensive visibility and security for all OT assets, networks, and remote operations. It provides best-in-class security while simplifying OT security management. It sees and protects everything in the network, and it automates threat detection while implementing zero trust across all operations. So sleep better at night knowing you have the most comprehensive platform to detect, manage, and secure your OT assets. Learn more about the Palo Alto Networks Zero Trust solution. Go out to PaloAltoNetworks.com. That's PaloAltoNetworks.com. Find out more. You will not be disappointed.
Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott Mackenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk. Thank you for your continued support. The #1 industrial-related podcast in the universe, Ramesh, right here. You know, and it's backed up by data. Did you know that?
Yep.
So you don't even start to demand any, and it's like question my resolve that it is the #1. Anyway, and it celebrates industry professionals all around the world because you're bold, brave, and you dare greatly. You are changing lives and you are changing the world. We are broadcasting on site. Accruent Insights is the location, or is the user community, which is just absolutely wonderful. A lot of people are discussing challenges and solving problems right here, right now. And by the way, if you ever want to come to a place called Gaylord, it's a must. I mean, you'll be amazed at the size. You've heard him once, you've heard him twice. We've got Ramesh in the house, Ramesh Gulati. We're going to be talking about education. Let's get cracking. All right. Ramesh, you're back. You're back and you're going to be sharing some pearls of wisdom.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that.
You're always good. Absolutely. You know, the Industrial Talk podcast doors are always open for you.
Thank you. Again, we meet at different places. I'm glad we are meeting at my hometown, Nashville. Greetings from Music City.
It is great, by the way. Yeah, food's great. It's got a great vibe to it. We haven't been outside of the Gaylord because this is a small state. It's the 51st state.
Small state, but long state.
It is. It's amazing. All right. We already know your background. 350 years of experience. Just kidding. Combined experience. You've forgotten more about reliability asset management than anybody can imagine. We're going to be touching upon education. Why don't you take the listener right now through sort of what you're thinking about from an education perspective?
Well, what I'm thinking is, really is in the field person who has been in the field for many years. And what I found that we have to make sure our people have proper skill set, they have proper education, because without that you cannot get things done properly. And what our people are coming from the schools, what we get them, they are not ready for the plant work. They are not ready for hands-on experience kind of work.
Not even close.
Not
I mean, there's a level of sophistication out there.
Well, again, what we teach in the colleges and universities and schools is a theoretical stuff. Okay, they are not hands-on experience, practical, and that's a challenge. So, what I'm thinking, what I have done when I was working. Again, I have retired a few times, but still working because I got a passion for what I do, educate and get people at higher level so they can do a more productive work. So I'm more on education educating people, making sure they have the knowledge. Okay, so over the years, in fact, I've done a lot of training on my own people and requests from my own people and the industry. Hey, why do you do something? So I wrote few books on this one. Okay, to make sure people they can go someplace, get the resources, so they can start learning themselves. Okay, and
what are the name of the books?
Maintenance and Reliability Best Practices, which is now in 3rd edition. I'm glad, I'm happy, and really happy about it that it's in 3rd edition now. Okay.
So I have to ask the question, because what I see here and what I experience with the conversations is this speed, this constant change. How do you keep up with their? I mean, there's blocking and tackling from a reliability perspective, and that's important. There's just so much going on.
Well, thing is, fundamentals don't change.
Yeah.
Yes, we have new technologies coming.
Yeah.
But fundamentals of maintenance and reliability have not changed. We have to plan the work, we have to schedule the work, we have to have a workflow process. Yes, fundamentals have not changed. So we have to educate people on that one. So my books, again, as I said, is in 3rd edition. The reason I wrote is I want to share my knowledge, what I know. So that's in fact, it's new younger people are coming and they don't want to read the books.
Yeah.
Okay. So last 2 years, what I've done is working with ReliabilityX and some other people, we have come online. The whole book we have transferred in online version.
No way.
And with a video, so you can go self-paced and learn, whenever you want to do it.
Oh, you have videos with it too. Huh?
Yes, video. So you can go online and on computer base and do your education whenever you need, if you have a time available.
Right.
Okay. Also, I have written on 10 rights of asset management.
Say that again.
10 rights of asset management.
Right.
Because what I've learned is we operate in silos. I mean, planning of that asset, design of that asset, procurement, all those things are done in silos. And we don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
But that's not the way to do it. So that's the reason Terry O'Hanlon, I wrote this book, 10 Rights of Asset Management, where we are talking about, whole process. You need to have a right specification, you need to have a right design, you have to have a right procurement process, so we don't go for cheapest value, we go to best value. Then you have to have some kind of installation process, a build process, installation process. That's done before asset gets on the floor. Then we do operation, maintenance, improvements, and then we have to manage all of those. We have to make sure we have right people on the floor. We have right resources and training. And we have to make sure we have our processes are robust. Some ISO certification. All those kind of things are there. We have to make sure. So it's not just having proper skill set. You have to write process. You have to write policy. You have to make sure everyone on the food chain from top management to bottom, they all understand where we're going, what's our vision, where we want to do, what's our policies there.
But isn't it a journey? I mean,
Yes.
when you're popping, you can't flip a switch in this stuff.
That's
It's not.
exactly
It is-
right.
you
It's
can't.
a journey.
Yeah.
People, sometimes our financial people in our companies, organizations, they want a quick return. They want, hey, let's apply RCM or apply this or get this new technology. It's just by switching, you don't get it.
do it.
It takes time. It's a journey. You have to build a culture. You have to transform people thinking, their paradigms. It takes time. It's not overnight. So education, awareness of your people is the key.
Yeah, and I think another part of it, in because to properly educate, to learn, to ingest this wonderful information. I think there has to be this collegial, collaborative type of conversation back and forth to make sure that many of the principles are being, retained. Because you just rattled off a ton of stuff, which is just all important. And all I can think of is a company saying, I get it. Holy cow. Where do I start?
Well,
where do you start?
Again, we have to start fundamental educating people. Thing I've seen over the years, many companies start building, they have right people, they're doing the right thing, and then the person at the top or the advocate leaves, the whole thing drops.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
it's a saw.
So, and that's the reason what I learned over the years, if you don't have right culture, sustainable culture, you cannot get things going for the long haul.
There's no way.
You have to build the culture, a sustainable culture, so people can, keep pushing themselves, so to get to excellence. And you just don't get one time, you have to stay there. And that's the key, how you can stay at the top.
Yeah, see, and that's a tough one. That's a tough one because what happens is that you develop this culture. You invest, and it's an investment of time and money that you develop it, and you reap the benefits. You should reap the benefits.
That's right.
From an operations perspective, reaping the benefits. And then all of a sudden, there's that change, and then somebody's saying, why are we spending all this money? But they don't see the journey. They don't see that we were here, now we're here, and we're sustaining it here. But they don't see that.
That's the problem is our top management to understand that, hey, to build a culture, to sustainable culture, you have to keep education, awareness, and something is important which I really focus is training. How much money we should spend on our training.
Yeah.
Hard time comes, first thing we do is cut training, cut people. That's not the way to do it. I mean, you have to keep continuing education, keep educating awareness, keep educating everyone. It's not just one hey, let's do these people, we have to do all. Everyone needs to be educated, make sure has their skill set, upskilling, whatever you want to call it, and yes, new technology is coming. We have to prepare people for that. So that's really is education of your people and the building culture. One thing I learned is, everyone should be on the same page, talking same language. One thing I was able to do, my last place was getting people certified. Now, certified means qualifying people, upskilling them, for their job, and at every level. When you get people certified, even general manager or chief engineer or director of manufacturing, director of hiring, procurement, all these people, then they start talking same language. It becomes much easier to make a change. So education becomes a key part of this journey.
It's everything. It is. And if you're not educating, and if you don't have that passion to educate, then your knowledge is somewhat stale, just because things change so dramatically, so quickly.
Yeah.
And we've got the technology, the innovation that is existing out there, but you can't effectively handle the new innovation and the technology if you don't have the fundamentals that are just solid in your understanding on the application. You just can't.
See, change, innovation, improvements are necessary in today's environment. Mm-hmm. You have to make improvements, you have to make innovation, but implementing them really means you have to prepare people for change. I won't change unless it helps me to do my job better. Yep. I think that's the kind of thing we have to tell people, hey, yes, change is necessary. Without change, we cannot live. Change is necessary, but we have to prepare people. We have to make this technology such a way, implementation of that technology so that it can help people, help me to do my job better, more efficiently, more effectively.
For a listener out there that's saying, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I recognize, or there's a recognition that I need to educate, and I have to key up. I have to make it a part of my process, my professional
That's right.
process, right?" What are some of the options that exist out there?
Well, again, hey, there is a way you can do your self-training. You can go to read the books, or you can go to college, some special colleges, they do the special training for you for 2-day seminar, 3-day seminar. You go to conferences like this today. We are here, Accruent or SMRP or some other conferences you go, or IMC. So you go those places to learn something, what's new technology is coming. But again, hey, you need to be making sure your local chapters you can join, like local chapter for your societies. Yes, it takes time, your time. That's important. It takes your time and effort. You have to do something yourself. Hey, you may have to spend few hours your own time reading some of the things, or going to these conferences or your local chapter meetings to understand what's going on.
You just have to commit to it, and they're available. And then once you start to committing to those local chapters, then all of a sudden more opens up. I mean, you just find out more.
I mean, you have to build your network, and working with them, and you can, hey, if I know Scott, hey, I learned something from him, I can call him anytime, I got some issues, and that's the way you do the learning.
All right. How do people get a hold of you there, Ramesh? Love what you're talking about.
They can get me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I just got in LinkedIn.
Thank you.
And Ramesh.Gulati at ReliabilityX.com, and they can get me.
There it is.
So, please.
Educate as much as you possibly can. Reach out to individuals like Ramesh and others. Build that network. That is important. Thank you very much. It's always enjoyable to see you.
It's my pleasure to talk to the people and share my knowledge.
You spoke here, right?
Yeah.
There it is, man. All right, listeners, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. We'll have all the contact information for Ramesh out on Industrial Talk, so fear not. You'll be able to connect with him. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
That's Ramesh Gulati, the Reliability Sherpa. I'm telling you, he's forgotten more about asset management, reliability maintenance than I'll ever know. He is that impressive. Reach out to Ramesh. ReliabilityX is the company. You need to get in the reliability game. Again, we're all about education, which Ramesh talked about, collaboration, and of course, innovation, and pulling them all together with some action, with some focus. That's what Industrial Talk is all about. You need to participate in this platform. You need to be a part of it. Just go out to Industrial Talk. Go out there, find a little button, say, I want to find out more. Boom, connect, and let's have a conversation. We're creating these masterminds. It's all about solving problems. You need to be a part of it. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly, hang out with Ramesh, change the world. That's what industry does. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.